Erin is here too from Books with a Past, and I know she's got a lot of great Facebook advice. So we can all be chatting about it in the chat. And I know lots of people have used Facebook effectively and have good ideas, and we can chat about it. Sam, and I'll ask Sam some questions that you have too. So I'm going to hand it over to Sam. Go ahead.
Oh God.
Share.
No, so just real quick about Canva. I know Kathy Ellen's talking about Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff for Canva, but you can use it for literally anything. You do letterheads. I'm running for political office right now, and all of my campaign literature is designed on Canva. So, I mean, they even have like website templates. So it's so easy, drag and drop, do it. So, okay, now I'm going to share my screen with my little presentation. Okay. Yeah, so this was entirely a Canva template, and the only thing I added was the words, basically. Everything else, colors, everything there. So I'm Sam. I own Erin's Books in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. We're a teeny tiny little town. And most of what I'm presenting today is just from my running the Facebook page for the last 12-ish years that we've been on Facebook. I know there are like white papers and experts out there that tell you do this, do that. You have to do this if you want anybody to see you. And as much as that research is there, ignore it. My number one thing is do what feels right for you. You need to kind of know who your audience is going to be on Facebook. Facebook tends to skew towards the women over 40. So plan for those types of posts. You do have a variety there, but I know from the responses that we're getting on our posts, they tend to be female and they tend to be moms or grandmothers. And then think about what you want from them to get from your page. And then at least 2 of your posts a week should be geared for what you want from them to get from your page. So if you want your page to be dedicated to selling the hottest new titles, then 2 posts a week should be those hot titles. If you want it to be that they are getting the latest book news, be it new releases or so-and-so just signed a deal or these bookstores are doing awesome things, then at least 2 posts a week should be kind of what you want them to get from your page. So things to think about. Decide your voice. Do you want your page to be entirely professional? Do you want it to be quirky? Do you want to kind of give that down-home community feel? Do you want to be hardcore indie, rah-rah, Amazon can go suck it the entire time? Do you want to be everyone's best friend and cheer everybody on? Or do you want it to be a place where people can find out information about your community as well as your store? And then think about who is speaking. Are you going to be third person, like you're an outsider saying Erin's Books is presenting this author this week? Or is it a we, the store? Or are you going to have independent staff people posting, and would they be signing their names to the post so that the people viewing your page get the quirky person is Sarah, and then they get to recognize who's posting? Or you could even have the page being from the perspective of a store pet or a specific staffer. Every once in a while, we have a suit of armor in our store, and every once in a while he gives book recommendations and things like that, and that seems to engage the people because it's something a little different, and he always signs his posts. Variety is the spice of life. You don't want your page, when someone's scrolling down, to look exactly the same on every single post. I have 2 examples here. Hopefully you can't see the store names because I don't want to embarrass them. But there's These are actually our local competitors. This one store posts nothing 3 or 4 times a day, just a picture of a book that they just got into stock. And that's it. That's their entire feed. And it's all fed from their Instagram page. So there's no original content. And with the Facebook metrics, unless someone just happens to scroll past and want that specific book, it's not going to do much to sell your store in general. The other one, I have to move the screen so I can see it, posts nothing but memes and cutesy pictures. And this store has huge numbers of followers and likes and shares, but they're not sharing any information about their store. So I can almost guarantee you, of those 34,000 people that like their store's posts, maybe 9,000 at the most even know it's a store, let alone that they have a bookshop page where they can order books from. So you don't want it to be identical posts all the time. Let's see, go back the other way. I'm going to skip that for a second. When to post. So there have been papers written and websites will always tell you post to Twitter at this time, post to Instagram at this time. And, 2 or 3 years ago, you could follow those. Now it's just an utter crapshoot because none of the social medias automatically sort things by most recent or chronological order. So you could post something Tuesday at midnight and someone might not see it till Sunday at noon, just based on the way their feed goes through. They go through their feed. So you'll see for March so far, our 3 most popular posts were posted at 10 a.m., 12 p.m., and 8:20 in the morning. Our least popular posts were posted at 2:30, 8:20, and 8 p.m. So there's no rhyme or reason to it right now. That being said, I'm going to scoot back here. It's good to kind of set an agenda. And I know Kathy Ellen did presentations already on those planning. And I signed up with Loomly like during the presentation. So take a look at that one because I had been using Hootsuite. So it's a time suck. So even if you aren't using like a Loomly or a Hootsuite or something, try to be consistent and know that every Tuesday you're going to post New Book Tuesday because people will come to expect it. If New Book Tuesday is not your thing, maybe you want to do a Meme Monday. And, so people will, if you have 1 or 2 posts that you always do every week, people will know to look for them. And they will ask. I mean, we've had people go, okay, what's new book? I missed New Book Tuesday one week. So what's new this week? So even if you're not planning out every single post for every single day, at least have 1 or 2 that you know are going to be a weekly feature. And again, post them whenever you do, because right now, engage your audience. This is the biggest thing with Facebook. Facebook is like this supercomputer that, I mean, we all know because we see the ads that we get on our feeds that, you Google something 2 days on another device and there's 15 ads for it on Facebook for you. So engage your audience. Facebook looks at the engagements. They look at comments. The more comments you get, the more they shoot that to other people's news feeds. The more comments you get from people who are not local to you, the more they shoot that to your local people's news feeds. So don't just post and then walk away forever. Check back after about 20 minutes and then later that day. And then the next day, like I said, if you post on Tuesday, someone might not see it till Saturday or Sunday. So you want to always be checking back. Facebook gives you notifications when someone comments or likes a post. So use those. Go to that little bell icon to see who's commenting and when, and then acknowledge their comment. So reply to their comment if you can, or if they're just like, hey, that's cool. There's not really a reply you can do other than, yeah, it totally is. But like it or heart it so that they know you saw the comment and you are now re-engaging with them. And then they're more likely to want to comment on future posts like, oh yeah, Erin's Books noticed me that I liked that meme they posted. Oh, look, I'm going to comment on their next meme. Things like that. Okay, so Facebook has a lot of analytics that are like useless unless you have 100,000 followers and you want to target specific people, but they also have a lot that are good, and you can review your post engagements and hits. You can look at what your most popular posts are. So if you know that posting a picture of your bookstore dog every 13 days is going to get you additional likes and additional follows and lots of comments, then post that damn dog picture every 13 days so that you get more people. And here's some copies. I don't mind sharing our stuff because, so here's telling us for the last month, here are most popular types of posts. Now, that doesn't mean every single photo is going to reach 724 people, which really, when you look at it, we have almost 4,000 followers, which is not a lot for a business. It's a lot for a business in a town of 9,000. So not every photo is going to get 724 engagements. Not every link is going to get 501, but you know that photos get more than videos. And so that's what you need to know for your store. If your store is like posting videos like crazy and that's what everybody's looking for, then keep doing it. And you can just ignore linking and photos. This tells you post clicks and reactions. So you're almost always going to get more reactions than post clicks, except here links. So this goes back to when do you post? It used to be, I think the thing used to be Wednesdays at 3 used to be what they said for Facebook. Well, one of the analytics that you can look at on your Facebook page is when your fans are online. Well, they're online every day, and they're online every day from looks like 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. So as long as you're posting in that time frame, you're catching most of them. Your store might be different, but that tells me that if something happens in the store at 3 p.m. on Thursday, I can post it at 4 p.m. and someone will see it. And then you can also, in the analytics, look at what other stores are posting and what their basic analytics are. So I picked stores that are with an hour and a half of us that are about the same size as our store, physically about the same size as our store as far as followers go. And like I said, and then they're about an hour and a half from us. So chances are we have a lot of crossover for followers because people will travel 45 minutes if they're bookstore people to these stores. And you can see what their most popular posts are for that week. And there's another analytic where you can just see what their general reach is each week. So like Cupboard Maker Books, 45 minutes from us, excellent used bookstore. They are super into genre and romance. They are well known in the romance world. But their most popular post last week was a cat photo. So we can't replicate that because we don't have store pets, but we know that that's how they're reaching most of their people. Firefly, their most popular post had a baby picture, cute babies. Whistle Stop's most popular post is the same as our most popular post last week, which was a flashback to a year ago when we all had to close our doors for who knows how long. So it's good for you to see what other stores that are comparable to you, what they are posting, what their engagements are, just so you can kind of see if it's something that you can replicate, see if you catch the same people, or not want to do it. Like if you have a store that's 3 miles down the road, you might not want to be posting the same type of stuff they're posting because you don't want to encroach on their customers. I mean, you do because you want them to also shop with you, but you don't want to be seen as the store that copies the other store. So this is a helpful analytic to look at. The other ones that are there, I'm just going to flash over if I can, if it'll let me. Will it let me do it? No. There are some others. There's some that tell you how people find your page, not specific posts on your page, but your page in general. So it'll tell you if people are finding you through Facebook specific. So if they're searching Erin's books in their Facebook window, it'll tell you how many people found your page by searching that. It'll tell you how many people found your page by searching Google and DuckDuckGo. Those are the three. It'll tell you if they are finding your page mobile or on a computer, a desktop computer. So those are just kind of things just to keep an eye on. They're not ones necessarily to look at a lot. There's also an analytic that'll tell you how many people you're reaching paid versus unpaid. And interesting, I looked at it this week, and our paids reach less people than our unpaids. Now, our paids are we do paid ads specifically for events, as opposed to just generic posts. Light bulb moments. So stuff happens in our stores all the time. I know Kathy Ellen was telling the story the other day about the guy who met the author on the train while he was reading the book. I mean, you can't plan those posts. Those are going to happen. Go with them. Those are the things that customers find interesting. They are not your normal, here, this is the new book this week, or so-and-so suggests this book. They're not community, the town is hosting a food truck festival this week. These are like in the moment, happen in the store, really fun, cute story. One of our most popular posts last year was an old guy walked into the store carrying a pug in his backpack. I mean, we took a picture of it. He doesn't know we took a picture of it, but we took a picture of it and posted it the next day, like fun things you see at the bookstore. I mean, so you might have your planned posts, but you have to go with those aha moments, because that's what gives your store character. And then lastly, I breezed through these because I'm not a Facebook expert. It's just social media. We miss New Book Tuesday. I don't work on Tuesdays. So New Book Tuesday is usually someone taking pictures of books, and then I do it at home, but I miss it sometimes. So on Wednesday morning, I'm like, oops, is it Wednesday and not Tuesday? Here's the new books that came out this week. It won't make or break your store. Customers are going to find you. Customers are going to engage with you whether or not you are on all the social media platforms or just one social media platform. There's no one way to do it. If you're not posting at that certain time the expert tells you to post, it does not mean no one's going to see your post. Do what feels comfortable and natural. If you're a store that doesn't feel comfortable promoting, I don't know, other stores in your town, let's say, then don't. If you're a store that really wants to be known as the store everybody goes and has a good laugh at, then that's what you post stuff about, funny stuff that happens at your store. The people can tell when your posts are robotic, like, okay, it's Tuesday, here's the new books. They can tell that you're not enthusiastic about them. They can tell that you've had this post planned for 3 weeks and it's just, here's the author event we have coming, don't forget to come. They can tell those. So use those light bulb moments, those fun, quirky stories to pepper your posts. And I think that is it. That is it for me.
I'm going to unmute. I know how to do that. Thank you. I'm going to reinforce just a couple things that you said, because I know some people came in once you were started, and I just want to reinforce them because I think they're great. So knowing what your audience, if you haven't figured out who your audience is there yet, or what your store voice, don't forget, I have that little workbook for you, and you can fill all that out and on a cute sheet of paper. I don't know. I like cute little things. It makes me do things that I wouldn't do if it weren't cute. Talking about the variety is so important, because if you were only just posting books and no faces, like, people don't know who you are. And if you're only posting memes, like, those are beautiful, but again, they might not know your store. I really liked that you talked about the liking and the comments. And I don't know if anyone has seen this. Maybe I just get it all the time. I see this advice to wait until you post. When you post something new, go back and like all the comments on your last post. And I'm like, that's just so much energy. It feels tricky and a little manipulative to me. And the idea is they see a notification from you and then they check out what you have. But I think it's so much better to just do it when you see it. And sometimes, like you said, Sam, they just say, oh, cool, this is great. You can always just say thanks or thanks for being here, something like that. Sometimes it's like, what do I even say? So you can just like it. And you're basically noticing that they're noticing you. It's like mutual noticing. I absolutely loved that you hit on, comparing with stores, but really comparing with the right stores. You're not out there comparing with, I don't know, say the last book of LA, you're because that is going to just not make you feel good. So great idea to do that. Can you quickly I'm just gonna quick rapid fire, a couple of questions that will not be hard, but just to give us an idea. So you are the owner of the store and you do Facebook. Okay. So
yes.
And I just want to make sure. I know some people have other people who do it.
No. So I have my husband and 2 other staff members who have access to Instagram and Facebook. So they will post stuff. Usually they'll be like, hey, Sam, can I post?
Okay. So you're kind of like the manager of Facebook.
Yeah. Posting. But it's not like they have to if I'm not there and something fun happens in the store, I'm totally cool with them posting it because they know the feel of the store. They know the message we want to get out. They know that we're down home funky, So
yeah. So that makes it pretty easy for them to jump in kind of when they need to. And do you have a strict schedule of, I'll talk a little bit about, I know you have some specific days that are really fun on your feed, but do you have we have to post this many times, we want to post once a day, any sort of specific goals like that?
No, I mean, I will get to the end of the day and be like, oh crap, I didn't post anything. And then I force myself to find something and it's not fun or thought out or I phrase things wrong. So here's a funny story. So, they announced Glennon Doyle as the ABA Indie Bookstore Day national spokesperson, right? So I put that on our post and I wasn't real clear. And we have all these people commenting thinking that Glennon Doyle is now coming to our store in April. So
I really like that post.
Edited the post and people still, even though I've made it national spokesperson speaking for all the indies, they still don't get it. So that's fun. But that was a end of the day. Oh crap, I didn't post anything today. Let me just throw something up there quickly. Post. But hey, we're getting noticed.
I really liked that post. I have to say that. So a couple of just me scrolling through and looking at your feed, and I was thinking, let's talk about some things that work. So that picture of Glennon Doyle, obviously you did not take that professional photo of Glennon Doyle. So that came from somewhere else. That was an asset.
From the ABA announcement. Yeah.
Right. From the ABA announcement. Right. But I loved that you put a little Aaron's books in there. You put about Indie Bookstore Day. And if I'm remembering correctly, something about we're going to be having a fun day.
Yeah, I said save the day. We've got plans. We don't know what they are yet.
Right, which seems to be a lot of what I see around bookstores on Indie Bookstore Day, either to build mystery hype or maybe it's really the truth, and that's okay.
I have no clue.
Way.
Yeah.
But it's sharing news. It's not. It is a photo that you didn't take, so that's a little less work too. And it had a lot of shares, whether or not people thought she was coming to the store or not. Maybe that's why I got all the shares. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love that you share bookish memes. Those are really fun. It seems to get a lot of conversation going on there, and not every day, just meme Monday.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no, it's basically when I honestly, and I love you all because you all have awesome Facebook feeds because we steal a lot from you all. You know, if I see another store that has posted a cool bookish meme, I'll like save it in my, website folder for pictures. And then when I'm desperate for something to post, I'm like, oh yeah, that's fun. And we always, anytime we do a meme, we make it interactive. So a lot of them are your birth month plus your last name is the name of your store or something like that, So we have people respond what the name of their store would be based on that meme and things like that. So
Yeah, those are really fun. And I like the book blurbs dictionary one too. That was
yeah,
really
I love
that
that
was
one.
really interesting. And I noted down that you share a lot of other bookstores, which I think is great. And I can tell that community is kind of a focus there too, because I see a lot of community sharing. So do what kind of is, you talked about everyone should know their audience on Facebook. How do you think your Facebook audience compares to your audiences in other places? Because I believe, everyone will probably feel sort of the same way, maybe
Yeah.
not, but
So our Facebook audience, from what I can tell from the responders and the people that come into the store saying, hey, I saw that on Facebook, are the families of the town or families who travel to the town to come shop. And our town's a tourist destination. So we have a
yeah.
lot of not town specific people that follow our Facebook who are shoppers at our store. So our Facebook is definitely moms and retirees that enjoy the community. Our Instagram, I have not figured it out. It's a mix, but it is people who are not necessarily store shoppers. We have a lot of bookstagram people that follow our store, and I'm like, you live 4 blocks from me. Why the hell are you not shopping in my store? But you have no problem commenting on everything I say on Instagram. Things like that.
Reach out to them. Maybe do
some. Oh yeah, we have.
Okay, good. I'm like, maybe they will. And you said that you were on Facebook. You've been on Facebook for about 12 years. So do you want to talk a little bit about maybe some of the changes / I don't know if it was brought up in your Facebook breakout session on Tuesday, but it seems to be that there's a lot of low engagement on Facebook, and, maybe we need like a pep talk or a mindset shift around that or something is there anything that
So for me, we keep Facebook, one, because it's so easy to do and engage with customers. I do Instagram because we just have to. I find that harder to engage with people. For Facebook, it's so easy to engage. And honestly, the women over 40 with families and the retirees are the ones that have disposable income. They're the ones that are going to come into the store. We don't get a lot of purchases from Facebook posts, but we get a lot of, oh yeah, next time I come to the store, I'm going to check that out. And we know that they are coming into the store.
And that's interesting to hear you say that, because I feel the exact opposite. I feel like Facebook is a lot of work for me to do. And I know it's not, it's really not, but I think just mentally, since I like being on Instagram better. So that's just something for everyone to think about too, because remember, not every platform is for everyone, and not everyone feels the same way about every platform.
When we first started with social media, Twitter was our thing. We were early adapters to Twitter, like 2007 Twitter people. And we had a huge Twitter community, and it got too much. Like I felt like I had to spend 24 hours a day to keep up with stuff. And we dropped it, and we haven't seen a drop in engagement or support or anything. So do what feels comfortable for you. If you hate Facebook, then don't do it. I mean, keep a Facebook page and keep it up to date. Don't be the store that posts in November, January, and then, one maybe March and maybe June. Keep it up to date, try to do at least one post a week, even if it's just like, these are the books we got this week. And you can feed it from Instagram. You don't have to necessarily always, but keep Facebook up to date and then focus where you want your energy to be.
Nice. I think I love when other people say that too, because I feel like that's all I've been saying this whole conference. So it's good to hear. A couple of questions that came up in the Facebook ideas chat we had on Tuesday. We're talking about using Facebook groups as opposed to pages or anything like that. There was some hesitancy around groups because you need a moderator, but have you gone into any of those? Or
So we had, and we'll bring it back when we can have people in the store again. We had a dedicated Facebook group for our game people. And that's where we would, and we used it to announce our gaming sessions in advance so that they had first pick. And that was an incentive for people to join the group.
Cool.
That's the only group we've had. Yeah.
Okay. What about DMs? Do you sell through DMs? Do you?
No. so because there are 5 of us, 4 of us that are Facebook admins, and only one of us is ever going to be in the store at one time, probably. We have an auto message that says, thanks for reaching out for us. We really appreciate it. Unfortunately, the person checking Facebook right now might not be the person who can answer your question. Please call the store or email us.
Great
If
idea.
then I immediately, like when I get the notification, I'll go and I'll check to see if they emailed. And if they didn't, then I will give them a personal response if I have the time and energy, honestly. But it clearly says, if you need us, these are the other ways you can reach us. Oh, and it links to our website. Like if you're asking about books to order, click on this link, So I'd say maybe 1 out of every 5 or 6 does not follow through to calling or emailing or clicking the link. And I just, at this point, we have so many other things going on. I just let it go.
Yeah, good idea. One last question, and then I'll get to some comments and questions in the comments. So what about, we had a discussion about this, tagging publishers in the caption of a post, in the photos, both, neither?
I don't tag publishers because I figure it's some 22-year-old sitting in an office who has no clue who the frig Erin's Books is. They're not going to pay attention to it.
They should.
But if we're highlighting an author, I do try to tag the author because that, they Google themselves all the time, let's face it. So it'll come up that, oh, that bookstore is featuring my book. And then they might like the post, or they might mention it, or they might share it. I mean, it's a crapshoot.
I should be Googling myself more, I guess. I'm not a very good self-promoting author. Okay, so I want to make sure Tom has a specific question. Where exactly did you find / set up the store comparisons in Page Insights? And if you want to share it with us, share your screen with us, you can.
Yeah, let me see if I can find that page again.
I feel like it's something you could share quickly, and I don't want Tom to have a headache over it.
Yeah, I closed it. So let me log into my Facebook again.
And a couple people
go ahead and vamp for a second.
Sure. And a couple people are talking about groups. Everyone, if you saw it in the chat, I love the idea of a VIP style group. And maybe you have that big fan of your store who would love nothing more than to be a moderator of your group, because then they feel like they're part of the, family. And Kristen, right? Kristen said my bookstore, her Facebook group has only a couple hundred, but way more engagement than the 5K main page. And it's set as informal. So it's a little less stress. So that's a good idea. If anyone wants to do that, remember, you don't have to do anything. I'm going to keep scrolling back to make sure I didn't miss anything. I see some people who Jennifer made a TikTok. So exciting. Looks like your 16-year-old is gatekeeping you a little bit until you do an intro post, but that's okay. And some Jamie has used Canva to make a presentation. Oh, and Claire loves Erin's Books and has a t-shirt from you guys. It's awesome. Okay, let's see. Sam.
Okay, so if you go to Insights, you have your, go to my page.
Perfect. Take us.
You have this whole thing on the left side. And again, this is on a desktop. Mobile, do this stuff on a computer. Don't do this on mobile. Go to Insights, and it's under posts, I think. Is it under posts? No. Yes. Yeah. Then you have 3 things up top here. When your fans are online, post type. So this is the one that tells you what your average reach is over the last month for price, and then top posts from pages you watch. And it's updated since my last when I screenshot it. But you can also then you can look at a whole bunch of stuff. But there's a button, add pages, and this is where you can go in, and it tells you your top ones that you've already selected. And then you can keep going in and you can add more. You can search for a page. So let's do Bard's Alley.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. I don't see what we post on Facebook that often because I'm not on Facebook.
Bard's Alley. And now you can watch the page. And they're comparable. And so it does it based on size, and they're comparable in size for us. So now you guys are in our top 5.
Okay. I apologize if you see me being ridiculous.
And then it'll update.
Or Rosemary.
Yeah. So that's how you do it. It's under Insights and Posts.
Thank you for sharing that. Tom said, awesome. Thanks. Oh, and Alicia made an animated Canva Instagram post. Okay.
Yay!
So tag us when you make this stuff. You can tag me too on Instagram. I'm actually going to post, I think maybe once a week on Neba's and mine, just who did something cool? Tell me. Cause I seriously get so excited. And I know Alicia says, I'm proud. I'm way prouder of that than I probably should be, but it's a start. But be proud. You learned something new and you made something cool. Let's see. Let me look at my list of questions here. I think I kind of covered everything that I wanted to ask you, Sam. If we have any more questions in the chat or anything else that you want to add. I mean, what would you say, I guess, Sam, to someone who's feeling like they need a boost in what would you suggest they do if they feel like they need a boost in either their Facebook or their kind of approach to it?
So one thing is follow stores you respect, follow stores close to your area so that you can see what they're posting. Follow the big guys because they have staff that does this. And steal. I mean, we're a community, and if they have really cool, awesome things that they're doing, copy them. If there's a meme that they created, be sure to attribute it. We always, according to our Facebook followers, we have a lot of friends in the world because our friends at such and such bookstore just posted this great video. Our friends at such and such store just did this, so attribute it, if you're sharing something. But yeah, follow a ton of stores, follow a lot of authors that your customers read, because they might post, here's the cover reveal of my new mystery, and that if you post that the day the author posts it, that you'll pre-sell 12 copies, then do it. I get a lot of our content from what we follow.
And that's great because that, echoing back to Tuesday's content planning presentation, that's curation. That's not a lot of work you have to do. Kristen added in, they always give props to who we share. It's a great idea to give props to who we share because maybe they'll reshare it or they see you sharing. Right. And when we get back in person, you never know. They might notice that and say, I notice you sharing our stuff. That's really cool. I know who you are. Yeah. And I think it is valuable because you are, as booksellers and stores, we're probably following a lot of places that other just average readers are not. So we may think, oh, everybody's seeing this, maybe in the book world, but not in your community.
Right. So, and all of your followers are not following, the stores out in Colorado, and they don't know that you didn't come up with this cool quiz.
Right.
So do it.
I found another question in here. This is from Claire, and it was seconded by Jennifer. Has anyone found a way to decouple their personal account from their store account so that you're not getting notifications when you're on Facebook personally on your day off? Haven't found a way to do that?
No. Okay. You have to be a person to manage the page. You can turn, if there's a particular post that's getting huge amounts of pings, and likes and you don't really need to deal with it, you can turn off notifications for those specific posts. But you have to, you have to be a person.
Or Anastasia and,
yeah.
and Bonnie are saying you can make a fake person to
Yeah.
manage your page. A local historical figure, that's fun. That's really fun. Aaron said, I use Facebook collections. Okay, so see, I don't even know if Facebook collections is a thing. I use that. I save stuff on Instagram. Sounds like the same. To bookmark cool posts / memes from other stores. Then when I need inspiration, I go back to those bookmarks. That's a great idea because sometimes it can be tempting. You're on, you see all this stuff, you post like 15 things. People are like, whoa, Aaron's books, chill out. I know you guys don't do that, but yeah, that's great. And oh yeah, Facebook. How do you get to Facebook collections, Aaron? Where do you get that? Jennifer's talking about Square marketing. And yeah, the cross promote. I mean, it's always a great idea to cross promote things that you were doing in other places too, with the expectation, maybe some people will go there, maybe some people won't, but why not? Worst that could happen is nobody clicks on it and you just put something up that you already did. Another one, Jane Alice. I don't know if it's both names, Jane, so I'm just going to default to both names. It is. Okay. I'm a double name person, so I just always default to double names. Jane Alice said that you message them to yourself on Facebook. Kit, technically fake is against the user agreement. If discovered, you can be banned, but they are notoriously and profoundly bad at finding fakes and stopping spoof pages. Okay, good. There's a lot going on in the chat here. Thanks, everybody. Wow. And let's see. Yeah, if anyone has any other questions or comments, or if you want to share something that works really well for you, we did have the idea boards about Facebook. And actually, I'll pull that up real quick to run through some of those of what people do that works well. And we're going to be sharing this. So you don't need to get out your pen and paper and write things feverishly, but just to add to the conversation and maybe get you thinking about things. Some people use Facebook Live to preview new release books and then repurpose that by downloading it and sharing it to Instagram. They found that quick author interviews and resharing links, like we've talked about, asking followers what you're reading, what they're reading. Ooh, resharing. Do you do that often, Sam? Do you reshare content from your personal or from the bookstore page to your personal page?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? Okay.
Mostly like if it's event related, like I'm trying to get butts in seats and like, okay, friends, come on now. I really need you to show up.
Right. Come on over.
Yeah.
One-on-one store interviews, tagging authors and publishers. Some people use a lot. And again, like you said, focusing a lot on community and getting those canned responses to the DMs. Aaron added in the chat, you all, if you want to see how to get to the save post and the collections. Yeah, Lucy, I understand the sad feeling that results from zero engagement. So
yeah.
Do you have like a trick to deal with that, Sam? Or it's just like, it is what it is?
It is what it is, you know? Yeah. So we had our Glennon Doyle. Oh, Glennon Doyle's coming to town. She's so totally not coming to town. I want to change the post to say, no, people, she's not coming, but I'm not going to. But like our next post, we've had 3 people look at. So, it is what it is. I just will post something else today. And it's Facebook and their algorithms, and maybe they're upset that Glennon Doyle's not coming. So they don't want to show my post. Who knows?
We will unfollow you. How dare you?
Yeah. And you can also, that's another one of the insights, is you can see how many follows and unfollows you're getting per day. And hopefully the follows are more than the unfollows, but it happens, someone moves out of the area or, just decides that they're cleaning out their Facebook because they have too much stuff. I don't sweat it.
Yeah. I tend to think, I always like to think I think a lot of people can get upset about that, but I like to think of it as they were getting something out of my page or my feed, and then maybe they found a better fit. And so that's where they want to spend their time. And I don't want anyone guiltily coming to my page and feeling bad about anything that they see there. So if they don't want to be there, I don't want them there. That's okay. It's really fun when they announce. I feel like that doesn't happen on Facebook as much as it does in other places, but when they announce they're unfollowing, it's like, all right, see you later.
Oh, and I will say this is completely off, but it made me think of it. Is when you're posting that could be controversial, like the fact that people have to wear masks in your store, you will get those comments. You can hide those comments. You don't have to respond to them. You don't have to ban them unless they're constantly are doing horrible comments, and then you do. But you can hide those comments, and they don't know that comment's been hidden. They will, if they go back to that post, they will still see their comment there, but no one else will.
And how do you hide?
Don't engage.
Oh, sorry, Erin.
There's a little button. It's the little icon right next to the comment, and there's an option to hide.
Okay. Erin, go ahead.
Can I just add something there? We have a few like friends of the store who we will sometimes call on to comment on posts that we think may be controversial, because generally if you can set the tone early on the post, people are going to feel weirder about being inflammatory later on. So if we know that something is like has a potential to cause an issue, like we'll just kind of message someone that we know and say like, hey, if you feel strongly about this, could you just comment on it to kind of like start the dialogue? And that seems to help limit the number of grumpy comments we get, from people who aren't even shopping with us anyway.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. And I think too, it's important to remember that whenever you do post something that has a clear point of view, you're going to make people comfortable that agree with you, and people that don't agree with you, you probably will make them uncomfortable. You can't make everybody comfortable all the time. So it's not, sometimes people make it a personal attack, but they just personally are against this thing that you support, which can feel like a personal attack. But like Erin was saying, is it even someone? It's just someone who wants to rabble rouse, why give them that attention? I'm seeing a couple things in the comments that I want to call out. Kit says Facebook allows for co-hosts of events. We've done this with authors and exponentially increased our outreach. That's awesome. Kristen, great point. Facebook doesn't like links that send you off of Facebook. And we talked a little bit about that sometime this week, of posting natively there too. Like if you post a video there as opposed to linking to YouTube, I know it can be a little extra work. And yeah, Lucy, why the people with the mean comments, why couldn't you just keep scrolling? Exactly. They just want to, because they just want to start a fight, that's why. And I wish that they would just.
One of the things when you're deciding the voice that you want to have and stuff, you need to decide if you're going to get into the controversial issues. I mean, your store might be so supportive of one issue, even it could be like a local town issue that's happening, but your customer base might not be. You need to decide whether you're going to push it or, just not, because you'll get like we made the conscious choice of, when Black Lives Matters over the summer, we did store displays, we took pictures of our store displays, but we didn't do a lot of posting on the Facebook because we were getting comments. But the people who knew us knew to come to us for those books.
Yeah. Kelly is bringing up a good point. So if Facebook doesn't like links that go off of Facebook, does that make the argument for putting shopping for particular book links on Facebook Shop as opposed to a link to our site or merch? Do you have any insight on any of that? I feel like Facebook Shop might be a little more work if you want to set that up, but
it's time. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. No, we link to our site all the time, and we don't get tons of hits from it, but links is our second most viewed thing, because almost every post we do, we link to our site or link to like if we're doing a newspaper article, we'll link to the original article. I've started linking in the comments to see if that makes any changes. I haven't, it's just a new thing. So I'll have to go like from a year to year to see if it's different, but that is an option that if you want to, you can link in the comments, and then that also gives you a comment on your post as well.
Yeah, there's a couple more people talking about using a PDF or photo from an event, but then put the link to your event in the comments. I've seen a lot of people do that. And I think, Serena, you can definitely include links for event listings. I think if you have a link on your website, why not include it? It's just Facebook, like every social media platform, they want people to stay there longer than as long as they can. But people are going to be seeing your things there. If you don't put the link, is that inconveniencing your audience? And, try not to make them do an extra step if they don't have to.
And if you are doing links in the actual posting, look at the link preview, because 9 times out of 10, it'll be like whatever the header of your website is, or there'll be no image, and you can always go in and add an image. You want something that'll catch someone's eye as they're scrolling, and not just the logo of your shop. Right.
Good point. And if you don't like it or you don't need it because you're posting a PDF or photo from the event, you can also click off of that. Yeah. Perfect. Well, I think you've energized us a little bit about Facebook. Oh, Cody is asking, Does anyone know, does Facebook still deprioritize text heavy images?
I think especially like if you're doing a promotion, they definitely do. Now they have, and God knows that 2020 disappeared. So I think it's like 2 or 3 years now. They have recognized that if you're doing a book cover image, that text is part of the image and not separate.
Okay.
For a while, like even if you were promoting any author event and you had the image of the book, they would deny you the ad.
Oh, that's not fun. That's like most of what we post.
Yeah. So, but that's changed recently.
Okay. Anybody, any last burning questions? I'm going to talk a little bit about the assets that we have for you all to share to help us out. But I just want to make sure if there are any burning questions that people can ask them. Okay. I don't see any fire emojis in the chat. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Does it happen if you don't say it? I don't think it does. Okay. So remember, we have this Airtable for you, and the link's going to magically pop up in the chat while I talk. That this is the first time in a while that we've done this social media retreat, and one of the ways that it was made possible was by publishers who we reached out to and said, we are teaching booksellers some skills to create their own social media assets, to share books, to do all of these things. And would you like to be a part of this? And we'll do some promoting of these books. And they said, yes. So if you were at NVNR in the fall, you'll recognize No Gods, No Monsters. I don't know why it's all in caps. Apologies. Footnotes we heard about at lunch yesterday, if I'm remembering my days correctly. You Don't Have to Be Everything is a poetry collection that includes a poem from Amanda Gorman and many other amazing authors. These are all really cool books. I've looked through all of them when I was creating the assets. So we are asking if you could at least share once about these books. That would be amazing. We have some incentives as well that we are going to be giving away $100 gift cards. You'll see, we're still sort of finalizing things, but we're thinking about per book. So if you post something about the book, you basically get one entry into the raffle. This can be a Facebook post. This can be Instagram stories. This can be a tweet. As long as you tag Neba and Seba to make sure we can see it, so we can enter you in. And then I'm going to hop over to this is in the edit page, so you can see the behind the scenes here, but I'm going to hop over and show you what the Facebook one looks like. So if you get that, you're going to get a template was created for you and you can use it. So it will not let you, it will make a copy for you. See, copy of Facebook NVNR template. And so you don't have to worry about messing up the template that everyone else is using. You can do whatever you want from here. And I tried to keep it pretty simple for you. If you wanted to add store logo here, if you didn't, you could pull this over and center it. And I also wanted to keep it with quotes from Publishers Weekly or reviews or about the book. So if you, of course, if you have read the book and you love it, jump in, put that in there, a review from you. But I also wanted to keep it kind of a little vague, just in case, you know, I know some people want to make sure that, and it makes sense, the books that they're promoting, they vet. So these are just, we've got one for every one of the books. And if you were on the Canva presentation, the color, I did the color match from the picture to, let's see if you can do that. Let's see if I can change the color up here. So you can see I got this color from matching the photo, just a reminder for that. And they're all here with available to pre-order. So there's a little call to action as well. And at the bottom, a nice question that maybe people might want to answer, and another call to action. So hopefully this could turn into some pre-orders for you all. There's also back in the social media assets, if you scroll, you can see the author's social media handles. And again, if you need to expand one of these, it's pretty easy to do. And the publisher's social media handles, if you want to tag them, they would 100% appreciate it. They definitely want to see what we are doing with all of this stuff, and they might reshare. You never know. So again, the links to that should be in the chat. Airtable is like Google Sheets, but a little more, a little prettier, I think, and a little easier to use, in my opinion. I promise it's not intimidating to use. And the main reason I do want to show you, if you want to create your own thing, which I think is really great, you have the tools to do that now. There are book images here, and then in each one, this is a really long one, so I want to show you. It's lots of info to promote the book. So there's a digital copy of this book. There are illustrations that you could pull to match. Here's a bunch of different moods that are, and experiences that are looked at in the poems. And here's the cast of the 68 poets. So you can see Amanda Gorman, Maya Angelou, Elizabeth Acevedo, so many biographies, quotes. And even, you know, after you're done promoting like this book or showing off this book, there's the pub date too, if you want to shout them out on the pub date. This is still a good idea if you are creating things for books to collect, maybe reviews or little quick things, snippets that you see, and you can put together quick promos like that. So I'm going to stop my screen share and say, oh, it's getting an error with the Airtable link. Uh-oh. You can't open Airtable. Okay, let me pull up the actual link that I have, I hope, or hold on a second. Let me try to share again. Share. Sorry, my friends, that's not fun.
I think the issue may be more about forming an Airtable account so that you can access the file.
Oh, you might, yeah, you will have to do that. But let me just make sure that this is the same. And I think you can link it to Google. It's not too stressful. Let me just make sure that this link is the same in here. Yeah, I think it is the same link. I think that might be it. Try that and see if that helps. Yes, it's asking me to sign up first. Okay. I have an account, but I still can't access it. Okay. I got permission, but then I couldn't find the file. Oh no. Okay. I'll try to figure that out. But we do have a quick 5-minute break here. I'll try to figure that out for you all on the break. You don't have access to the space. Okay. I'll look into it. We'll be back at 10:35 and we will be talking about Twitter. So we will see you then.